You might be wondering how to create the amount of content that the attention economy demands when you're trying to move from being a five-figure designer to a six-figure design leader, because obviously to be a leader, you need to have a point of view about design. And it is super useful, again, in the attention of people to know what you stand for, what value you deliver in your work, and how you approach the work that you create with your team or as a leader of your own design organization. So the way that we approach content creation is a four-step process. So the first thing is identifying the things that I'm curious about, that I'm working on, that I either excel at or I'm working to excel at. I'm working on mastery of that topic. And there could be more than one, ideally. Maybe no more than four, because you really want to be known for those topics to attract the audience that you're looking to attract, because they will know that when they want to look for that content at a level of quality that you provide, then they know you're the go-to person. So that's the first step, is getting clear on where do you want to spend your time learning and where do you think you can deliver value to your audiences through the content that you'll be sharing. The second piece, of course, is to figure out what are the different media that you love working in. I enjoy writing. I'm a correspondent for Impact Entrepreneur magazine. I am also a filmmaker. Working with a camera is something that excites me, and I keep wanting to get better at that. So creating stories or creating reels is kind of a natural thing for me, and something that, whilst I didn't really want to be showing my face this much, once I got over that hurdle, then it is super enjoyable for me to create content in this way. So think about what you like doing. Do you like writing? Do you like video? Do you like other forms of storytelling? Do you like interviewing people or having, live conversations with people that enable you then to repurpose them as written post or as a video creation? So that's the second thing, is really thinking about what do you love doing? How do you know that you'll be able to show up regularly enough because it doesn't feel like a burden? The third thing is utilizing AI to basically shortcut your way through some inspiration so you don't feel like you don't know where to start. There's an easy way of doing it, which you can access by clicking on the link below that will take you to the full training. But basically, with the script, putting in your 4 pillars and prompting the AI to give you some ideas around those 4 pillars, and then refining them into actual post ideas. So that's one way of getting started. And of course, you would then bring that forward into thinking about how do you approach things? What are specific insights that you have about that? Because as we know, artificial intelligence is really like the starting point. And even if you're really good at prompts, it will give you answers that are not tied to your specific background, your specific values, your experience and skill sets. And so what you want to do then is start really infusing your personality using the medium of choice or the media of choice. And of course, making sure that you are leveraging the experience that you have and the lived experience that you have and the professional experience that you have, so that it feels like your content. The fourth step in this is badge creation. And I'm sure you've heard this before. If you don't do badge creation, you're really probably spinning your wheels, and it becomes a burden, as it has been for me for years, where you think, I'm not creating enough content, we're being invisible, I'm running this invisible business. This was like an ongoing joke with some friends because, we specialize in storytelling and stakeholder engagement, and there were times where we were not present on social media at all. So I am culpable of that as well. But now I have a system which I'm sharing with you now. The idea is that with those pillars, with those sample contents, we start creating ideas, specific scripts if we're doing videos or stories, writing articles ahead of time. And basically what you do is you set time aside once per month, and you just do all the graphics, you do all the content, and then you schedule it. For video and reels, which is obviously more time and effort intensive, what I do is I hire a friend of mine, and we see each other quarterly, and we set aside a half a day, and I will have planned what we'll be talking about, what we'll be covering. And she and I will discuss some locations that we think would be good, so that we're not spending a lot of time traveling, but we're in different kind of interesting locations. Then we batch create a whole bunch of high quality videos there. And because she's a professional photographer and videographer, then of course we have a super high production value, and these are batch produced, and of course I get to leverage her insights, her experience, her expertise to get that level of work. And then this example here is the second layer of what we add to what our plan is, which is being opportunistic. So I already have this repository of topics and questions that I've gotten in my work, in engagements with people, in things that I've read that I thought, oh, okay, I really believe in that. I need to share this. And so I'm able to be opportunistic the way I'm being right now. So I'm here on a business trip. I like this location. I'm able to get somewhat decent sound here, but the light is really nice. And so I was able to sit down and just take this Sunday morning to have people walk by with dogs and create this content for you. And so what that means is you're showing up with this baseline of really strategic, considered content that brings value to your audiences. So you have this cadence that's set. It means that people can have this expectation that you are going to be showing up time and time again where they think you will be, with the quality that you've gotten them accustomed to, with the depth of thought that helps to establish you as an expert, and also where they know they can go when they're looking for the pillars that you've established as being your areas of expertise. Now, once you've done that, the opportunistic part is the thing that helps you then to be tied into what you're working on at that moment. So say, for example, if we just created a new training, or maybe we got a new client at 725 and we're thinking we want to do more of this kind of work, then we might create this sort of opportunistic story to layer on what we're doing regularly, which then enriches our ability to have different conversations whilst not disrupting the strategic foundation of our overall communication strategy. So those are the 4 steps in which we create content and ensure that we're not worrying every day about posting. So we're able to batch create this content, schedule it, and then be present on a daily basis in Protagonist community, in our socials, to respond to folks and to support the people that we're supporting in the context of our environments, whether it's at 725 or at Protagonist. That enables us to be more agile because we're not spending time worrying about not showing up regularly, and where basically we're just being reactive and saying, what did the algorithm want from us? It's really about, how do I feel comfortable showing up in social to be present, and most importantly, to deliver the value to our stakeholders that they're expecting from us, and that will enable us to move forward, whether it's our own personal brand as designers who want to move into leadership, or if we're running our own organization, so that people are clear on what problems it is that we solve and what do we understand about the greater context of our work that can serve them in whatever they're working on. The last piece of this, of course, is measuring. And I'm finding with starting our new YouTube channel that it's super, super interesting to understand how to use titles, how to use graphics and assets in a way that feels on brand for me. So I'm not going to be pointing at things. I'm not going to be doing dances. I'm not going to be doing stuff that just doesn't align with how I want to show up in the world and how people who know me know that I want to show up in the world. And also, I'm listening. If I see that there's a certain format of what we're doing that people respond to because it seems to meet them where they are in terms of the type of value that they want from us, then I will listen to that. And I will adapt the ways in which we create posts so that we are able to deliver the value that we want to deliver. So again, it's always that mixture of being strategic, where you're showing up the way that you want to show up, and you're also paying attention to the mechanisms that are at play to be opportunistic, to continue to add value, but also to get the ROI on your efforts that you're expecting. Because otherwise, if you're just showing up in social because that's what you have to do, it's really not serving you, and it doesn't come from a place of joy and of ease. And those things, for me personally, are super important, because if we're going to be spending this much time together, we may as well do it in a way that feels authentic and enriching and joyful. And so if you want to apply this methodology to how you're showing up in social or in other media that you're using to communicate the value that you offer as an individual or as a company, then click the link below or subscribe so that you can get more of this type of content. and move forward to reach the goals that you want to reach, being authentic in who you are. I'm Isabel. This is Protagonist Network. Keep going.